In today's video, we're covering everything you need to know about the Disney Dining Plan in 2026. From how to use the plan to how to figure out if it's a good value for your trip. We've got a delicious weekend ahead of us filled with lots of juicy details, so let's get to it. Hi-ho everybody, this is Rob with Your Scouts coming to you from Disney's Coronado Springs Resort. We're having a little staycation here this weekend so we can show you everything there is to know about the Disney Dining Plan in 2026. In the course of this video, not only are we going to help you figure out if this is maybe a good value for you on your next trip, we're also going to discuss some reasons why value might not be the most important question you need to be asking when you're deciding whether or not to include the Disney Dining Plan. We talked to a ton of families who love the Disney Dining Plan and they get it on every single trip, even when, let's just say, the math isn't mathing. So we're going to share with you some of the things that they say they love about this plan. For right now, however, we just arrived at our resort. I could really use a drink of coffee, that is, and as luck would have it, you do get unlimited coffee, soft drinks, tea, and hot cocoa included with your dining plan. So let's head on over to our quick service restaurant here at Coronado Springs and get our caffeine fix. Mission accomplished. We have our refillable mug, and even more importantly, we have caffeine. So when you do the Disney Dining Plan, every member of your group that's staying in your room who's over the age of 2 will get a refillable mug as part of their plan. You can use it for coffee, tea, soft drinks, hot cocoa, anything that you're gonna find at the self-service refillable drink station. What you can't use it on, however, is milk or juice. Now, those items you can get with a dining plan, but they have to be accompanying your meal. It's not something you get unlimited refills on throughout the day, like you can those other items with your mug. Another thing that's helpful to know, if you're weird like me and you don't like to drink hot drinks out of plastic, they will give you a paper cup upon request. Your Disney mug can be refilled as many times as you like during your stay, and actually it'll keep working up to 14 days from your check-in day if you happen to still be here at Disney World after you check out. The catch is you cannot use it at any of the parks. This only works at Disney World Resort hotels. The good news is, however, you're not limited to your hotel. You can use this at any Disney hotel you happen to be near. So if you were at Epcot and you were back in the World Showcase, you could pop back there to Boardwalk or Yacht and Beach and get a refill if you were so inclined. Now that we have our caffeine fix, let's dig into the details of the Disney Dining Plan. If you're staying at any one of these fancy resort hotels, you can add the Disney Dining Plan to your vacation package. Now, a vacation package is essentially when you have a hotel stay and a park ticket as well. Now, that can be an annual pass or a military ticket. It doesn't have to be a park ticket that you purchase alongside the hotel, but it is important to know if you're trying to book online, it will not let you add the dining plan if you're using your annual pass or a military ticket. You will need to call and they can turn your hotel stay into a package and add the dining plan for you. Whenever you add the Disney Dining Plan, you do have to add it for everyone who's staying in your hotel room, and you do have to add it for the entire length of your stay. But if you only wanted the dining plan for a certain portion of your Disney visit, you could do what's called a split stay, where essentially you book 2 different hotel rooms and you apply the dining plan to just one of those hotel visits. Currently, there are 2 different flavors of the Disney Dining Plan you can choose from. There's the less expensive quick service dining plan, which includes 2 quick service meals for every night of your stay. You'll also get a snack each night, and you'll get that refillable mug, which is good for 14 days. Next is the standard Disney Dining Plan. This one's going to give you 1 table service meal for each night of your stay, 1 quick service meal, 1 snack, and that refillable mug. In addition to your mug, you're welcome to add a premium beverage to each one of your meals, whether it's quick service or table service. This could be something simple like milk or juice, Or it could be something like a mocktail or specialty drink that's available at one of the fancier restaurants. You could even get a cocktail, beer, or wine if you're over the age of 21. It's important to know, though, there are some drinks that are excluded from the dining plan, but really it's not a whole lot. For those specialty non-alcoholic drinks, it's usually the ones that have like a glow cube or they come in a special cup that are going to be excluded. And with cocktails, it tends to be the higher end cocktails. But most of the cocktails you're going to find on your dinner menu are included in the dining plan. All you have to do is ask your server and they'll let you know if anything that's there isn't included. If you have kids in your party between the ages of 3 and 9, they're going to get a less expensive version of the dining plan. They're going to get the same things that everyone else gets, the same number of meals, snacks, and the same refillable mug, but when they order, they're going to be limited to the kids menu if there's a kids menu available. If you're at a restaurant, however, that doesn't offer a kids menu, they are free to order anything from the menu, just like everyone else. Kids under the age of 3 don't get a Disney dining plan. They're actually expected to just kind of eat off of everyone else's plate, which I think is kind of weird, but hey, they're free. And speaking of free, sometimes the Disney dining plan will be offered for free when you book certain hotel stays here at Disney World. Sometimes it'll be for everyone in your party, sometimes it'll just be for kids, but it's important to know, while this sounds like a no-brainer and like a really great deal, you do need to read the fine print because you're going to be paying the full rack rate for your stay. Even if there are other discounts available, in some cases discounts that might be an even better deal for you, you are going to pay the full price if you want to get the free Disney dining plan. I always recommend before you book, either check the website and look for all the different offers that are available, or if you'd rather have someone else handle all that for you, reach out to a certified Disney travel planner. Typically, they don't charge you any extra for their services, and they will help you out by finding the absolute best deal with or without a dining plan. Whichever way you do it, however, you want to make sure you do that research and get the best bang for your buck. And how many bucks are we talking about? Well, in 2026, the prices have gone up a little bit for all of the different dining plan options. But to be honest, they haven't gone up that much. And the price of food here at Disney World has actually gone up a lot more. So when you take in consideration how much everything costs, they're actually kind of a better value than they were last year. The quick service dining plan is $60.47 per night for adults and $26.16 for kids age 3 to 9, but we're just going to round those to $60 and $26 per night to make things easier to figure out as we're budgeting. The standard dining plan is $98.59 for adults and $31.94 for kids, so we'll round those up to $99 and $32 respectively. So now let's do some quick math to figure out how much we need to eat and drink to make this thing worthwhile. Last year I estimated that the refillable mug was worth $5 because since you can only use it at your resort, I figured you're probably only going to get 1 or 2 drinks a day, and I chalked that up to $5. However, in my experience actually using the dining plan, I did end up using it more than once a day, every single day of our stay. So I would say this mug probably saved me about $10 in beverage costs each day. As for the snacks, last year we said that a snack was worth about $5, and that was just kind of based on the average cost of the different things that are available as a snack credit here at Disney World. But things have gone up a lot in this last year, especially snacks like pretzels and Mickey bars. So we're going to say this year that the average snack is worth $6 on the Disney dining plan. So let's do a little quick math here. If the quick service dining plan costs $60 for adults and $26 for kids, let's remove the value of the mug and the snack, and that leaves us with $44 for adults and just $10 for kids. Split between 2 meals, that means an adult meal is worth $22 and a kid's meal is coming in at just $5. Moving over to the standard Disney dining plan, we're paying $39 more for that 1 table service credit each night of our stay and $6 more for the kids version. So that means the table service meals are worth a whopping $61 for adults, but only $11 for kids. I would recommend write these numbers down, or better yet, put them in your phone so that you can reference them, because these are the numbers that you want to be thinking about as you're using the dining plan or as you're deciding whether or not the dining plan is worth it for your visit. Take a look at the menus, take a look at where you plan to eat, and see, are there meals where you're going to be spending more than these amounts, or is it likely that you would spend less than this for most of your meals, and therefore maybe the dining plan isn't worth it. One thing that is important to keep in mind with your math, however, is that you do have those premium drinks with every meal, and for your table service meals, you're going to be able to add dessert in addition to an entree and a side. That definitely does help the math to make a little bit more sense. During the course of your visit, sometimes you're going to get things that are less than these amounts. Maybe you just want a quick meal that's going to be really inexpensive, or maybe you just want a snack that's $3 or $4. In those cases, you could either choose to just suck it up and use the credit and just know that maybe you're not getting the best value for that item, or you could let the cast member know that you'd like to pay for that item in cash instead. You can even charge it to your room. You'll just need to let them know when you tap your Magic Band or your Key to the World card that you want to charge it as cash and not pay for it with your dining plan. You have to be careful though, because you might end up at the end of your visit having lots of snack credits left, or maybe even meal credits left. And obviously, if you don't eat anything for those snacks and meals, that's a pretty bad value. Well, all this talk about snacks and desserts has made me kind of hungry. I've actually got a little bit of a sweet tooth. I'm not ready for dinner quite yet, so let's head inside and make use of one of our snack credits. That'll be a great chance for me to show you what counts as a snack credit and also how you order things using the Disney dining plan. Let's go do it. What you're looking for is that little Disney dining plan icon. Wherever you see this on any menu throughout the parks, that means that you can trade one of your snack credits for that item. Snacks can be anything from bottled water to a soda to a piece of fruit. Packaged snacks can also be included as a snack, and you'll be surprised, sometimes those do end up being a pretty good value. For us, however, we definitely had a little bit of a sweet tooth this afternoon, and since our quick service meal tonight is not going to include dessert, we decided to have our dessert a little bit early. They do have really great baked goods here at Mercado del Coronado. It's one of my favorite quick service spots for bakery items. A lot of their baked goods and pastries actually come from Joffrey's. They even have my favorite Joffrey's treat, the Cronut, available. But I wanted to try something different that I hadn't tried before, and they had a really tasty chocolate cake. It was also a pretty good deal on the Disney dining plan at $7.95. That's a whole $1.95 more than the average snack cost of $6. Feel like we made a good choice, and it was a tasty piece of cake. Using the Disney dining plan was also a piece of cake. All you have to do is tap your Magic Band, Key to the World card, also known as your hotel key card, or a Magic Mobile enabled device. But when you do this, it is important that you let the cast member know that you're planning to use the Disney dining plan. If you're dining somewhere that offers mobile order, it's really easy to find out what counts as a snack versus what counts as an entree. It's also helpful if you place your order using mobile order, because it'll remind you if you're missing certain things that you're entitled to, like your extra premium drink. Unfortunately, Mercado del Coronado does not offer mobile order, so I did kind of have to ask the cast member what all was included as a snack credit. And of course, I needed to let them know when I was checking out whether or not I wanted to use a snack credit or pay in cash. Once I checked out, they handed me a slip of paper that showed me how many credits I still had available. But you don't actually need to wait for a piece of paper if you want to check up on how many credits you have available in the dining plan. Just fire up the My Disney Experience app, tap on hotel reservations, and then on your hotel stay, you're going to see a button there for the dining plan. When you tap on that, it's going to show you how many credits you still have available. There's even a button there that you can tap on, and it's going to show you the history of things that you've purchased and who purchased them. Well, now that we've had a little pre-dinner dessert, I'm going to go enjoy the resort a little bit, and I'll meet you back here when it's time for dinner. We're all checked into our room now. We had a great afternoon enjoying this resort. And now it is about time for dinner. But before we head off to eat, I want to share with you some things that we heard from folks after we made our last Disney dining plan video, and also share with you how that's changing the way we're approaching this video this year. Last year, we were laser focused on trying to find the best values as we went around and chose the different restaurants we were going to eat at Walt Disney World. But we talked to a lot of folks who said that value isn't really why they choose the Disney dining plan. For them, it's really more about creating an all-inclusive vacation where they don't really have to think about money. They don't want to do math at every meal. They just want to order what they want and not worry so much about the cost, and also not worry that when they get back home, there's going to be a huge credit card bill waiting for them because of all that delicious food. The other thing that we heard from a lot of folks is that they don't like to drink all that much on a Disney vacation. Maybe they're here with kids and alcohol just really isn't part of their dining plan. What we did in that video, and what a lot of folks do when they make these videos about the dining plan, is they use cocktails, beer, and wine to drive up the value of those different meals, and that's what ends up making the dining plan math make sense. But what folks were wondering, if we're not planning to drink, can it still make sense to use the dining plan from a value standpoint? So we're doing two things differently in this video. Number one, we're not going to just go to places because they're a great deal on the dining plan. Of course, value is important, and we're going to share with you ways that you could get more value out of the dining plan by doing things differently. But what we're really going to do is try to give you a sense of a more real-world weekend. We're going to go eat at the places that make sense for our plans. Tonight, for example, we're just kind of hanging out at the resort. We don't really want to go into one of the parks or over to Disney Springs, where we would definitely get a better value for our dining plan dollar. We'd also probably be able to get a better meal. But the reality is, some nights you just want a night in at the resort, especially on your check-in day. If you've had a long day of travel, it just makes sense to go to the quick service spot where you're staying and grab a quick meal. So that's exactly what we're going to do. The other thing that we're going to do is not rely on alcohol to drive up the cost of our meals. Now, normally in a weekend, we'd probably get a drink or two, but our goal with this video is to find out if we don't get any alcoholic drinks. Now, we might get a specialty non-alcoholic drink, but if we're not getting cocktails, beer, or wine, does the math still make sense using the Disney dining plan? And this weekend, well, I guess we're going to find out. So now that we've covered our plan for the weekend, let's head on over to Mercado del Coronado and have our first quick service meal on the dining plan. Mercado del Coronado is definitely not the best place to come if your goal is to get your money's worth with the Disney dining plan. I mean, we did okay, but we definitely could have stretched our Disney dining plan dollar a lot further if we had chosen to dine somewhere else. Now, when you get a quick service meal, it's going to include an entree and a side. In some restaurants, you'll be able to choose the side. In other restaurants, there will just be a side that comes already paired with your meal. And then there are actually some entrees that don't come with a side. For example, Eric decided he wanted to get the barbacoa beef bowl. That bowl didn't come with a side. It was just served as it was. Essentially, since it was beans and rice and meat and everything all in one, I guess they consider that the meal has a side built in, but it didn't have anything extra. To go with his bowl, he added a drink, because remember, you can add a premium beverage. Now, that premium beverage could have included beer and wine, but he was just in the mood for a San Pellegrino, so we grabbed one of those. If he had paid cash, his taco bowl would have been $17.50 and his San Pellegrino would have been $5. So that means the total value of his meal was $22.50. Remember that the target is $22, so he just barely cleared that target at $22.50. For me, I had a hankering for pasta, and my guess was Mercado del Coronado probably wasn't going to be the best place to get a bowl of pasta, but it was what I was in the mood for. So I got the chicken Alfredo. That was priced at $18, and it did come with a garlic knot. That was the side that came with the pasta. You didn't really have any choice to choose something else, so it was just pasta and a garlic knot. I chose to get a specialty coffee drink as my beverage because the 16-ounce version of coffee drinks here can be included. They do have a larger size that unfortunately cannot be included as a beverage, but 16 ounce is good to go. So the iced caramel macchiato that I grabbed was valued at $6.75. Add that to the cost of the pasta, and my meal came to $24.75. So I was a whole $2.75 over the target. That said, neither one of these meals were anything to write home about. I wouldn't say that you should make a beeline for Mercado del Coronado to use your dining plan credits, and they did end up being just kind of an okay value. We do have some more exciting meals planned ahead though, so I do think we're gonna end up still making pretty good use of this dining plan, and I'm definitely looking forward to what we have to eat tomorrow. In the morning, we're headed to Epcot for the Flower and Garden Festival. We also have a dining reservation at a restaurant I've never tried before that I'm super excited to check out. For us, we're gonna head back to the room and get some shut-eye, but for you, we're gonna use the magic of editing to take you forward through space and time to our Epcot morning. Let's go. We apologize for interrupting this video, but this is Future Rob here, coming to you from the future, because I'm about to say something that was true at the time that I said it, but since that time, Disney has actually made some changes, and so it is no longer true. I have some updated information. So I'm about to say that there is no way that you can have 3 meals a day using the Disney dining plan. Well, it turns out that starting in 2027, Disney is going to bring back the Deluxe Disney dining plan, and that is going to allow you to have 2 table service meals and 1 quick service meal for each night of your stay. Now that is going to be a pricey upgrade. It's going to be $163.01 per night for adults and $46.85 per night for kids. But if you want to enjoy lots and lots and lots of delicious food on your Disney vacation, Disney is more than happy to oblige. Of course, here at Ear Scouts, we're always up for a challenge. So we've already booked our stay in 2027. And if you want to see what we think of the returning Deluxe Disney dining plan, be sure to subscribe and ring that bell, and that way you'll be notified as soon as that video comes out next year. But for right now, let's return to our regularly scheduled video. I believe we left off in Epcot. And we've arrived at the Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival. We're on day 2 of our dining plan adventure, and this is actually the perfect place to talk about snack credits. In my opinion, Epcot, especially during a festival, is the absolute best way to use your snack credits. And the reason for that is this is the perfect place to turn your snack credits into a meal and definitely get the best bang for your buck. There's a really interesting paradox that happens when you're using the Disney dining plan, especially if you're the kind of family that likes to have 3 meals a day. The paradox is that you can't actually get 3 meals a day using the dining plan. If you're on quick service, you get 2 quick service meals. If you're on the regular dining plan, you get 1 quick service meal and 1 table service meal. If you want to turn that into 3 meals a day, you have to use those snack credits to get your 3rd meal. The other reason it's a challenge is because your dining plan actually goes by how many nights you're staying. But if you're staying 2 nights, that means that you're probably here for 3 days. So you only have 2 quick service meals and 2 table service meals with the regular dining plan, or of course, 4 quick service if you're using quick service. The reason I call this a paradox, however, is because especially with the traditional dining plan, even though you don't have enough credits to make it into 3 meals a day for your entire visit, you're often going to find that it is way too much food. The reason for that is because a lot of these table service restaurants are buffets or they're family style where the food just keeps coming. And even when they're not, they tend to give you really big portions, and you're going to get an entree, a side, a specialty drink, and a dessert. And those meals can be really filling. For that reason, I actually like to plan ahead for those meals. I don't like to eat a lot on the day that I'm planning a big table service meal, and that's where snack credits come in handy, because you can actually make a pretty delicious brunch out of a couple snack credits, especially here at Epcot during a festival. When you go to any of these different festival booths, take a look at the menu, and what you're looking for is that little Disney dining plan icon. Wherever you see this on any menu throughout the parks, that means that you can trade one of your snack credits for that item. And at these festivals, those items can actually get pretty expensive. My favorite place to use snack credits is often here in France, because the France booth usually has some of the best food at the festival. It's also some of the most expensive food at the festival. But the good news is they tend to honor snack credits even on those higher dollar items. We're gonna head over there and have a duck dish that I've been eyeing for quite some time. But before we do that, we're gonna head into my favorite brunch spot, whether I'm using snack credits or not, and that is Les Halles. This is a French bakery. They have some of the most delicious pastry and kind of brunchy items in all of Epcot. This is where I will typically come to have breakfast when I'm here in the parks, and I'm looking for something delicious and a good value. Well, that was a delightful brunch. Both things were really good. The duck over at the Fleur de Lis booth was heavenly. Came with this little gâteau that was almost like a delicate stuffing. It had the flavor of like a Thanksgiving stuffing, but it was just in this really melt-in-your-mouth cake. And of course, the duck itself was nice and meaty. Over at Les Halles, I got one of my favorites, the quiche Florentine. It is just loaded with goat cheese and spinach. My favorite part though is the crust. It is just buttery and flaky and rich. I did get a Perrier to kind of cut the richness. It's important though, when you're getting two different things that could be a snack credit, that you let the cast member know what things do you want to use snack credits for, what do you want to pay cash for, or what do you maybe want to charge to your room. What I recommend doing though, to cut down on the confusion, just pay for things in multiple transactions. Let them know that you like to pay for everything that you want to use snack credits for first, and then pay for everything else using whatever method of payment you want for the rest. That way you don't have to be concerned that maybe they charge the wrong things as a snack credit. In our case, that quiche Florentine was just under 10 bucks, so that was a great use of a snack credit. This, however, would have been just under 5 bucks, so this would not have been a good use. I should mention it was possible that I could have gotten the quiche and the drink and then charged it as a quick service meal. In some cases, you can get a snack item and add a beverage to it, and they'll ring it up as a quick service meal instead. That pretty much never works out to your advantage financially, so I would only recommend doing that if you just have a lot of credits left to use up and you have a hankering for something that's considered a snack. Well, that's definitely gonna tide me over until dinner, and we're gearing up to use our very first table service credit. I'll meet you guys when it's time for dinner over at the Japan Pavilion, because we're having dinner at Shikisai. But more importantly, we're using something called a dining package for that dinner, and it's gonna let us use our dining plan to not just get a really good meal, but also to include a show. I'll see you in just a little bit over in Japan, and I'll tell you all about it. It is dinner time, and we have made our way over to the Japan Pavilion. Up until now, we've only been having snacks and quick service meals, but now it's time for our very first table service meal. And there's a lot of things that you need to think about when it comes to table service that you don't have to worry with when you're doing quick service. The biggest one, of course, is reservations. The best table service restaurants here at Walt Disney World tend to book up very fast. In fact, the most popular restaurants can book up within seconds of that reservation becoming available. So if you're going to use the table service dining plan and you're planning to eat at some of those more popular restaurants, you've got to plan this well in advance. Reservations open up 60 days before your check-in day, and you can book for the entire duration of your visit on that 60-day mark. It's also important to know that those reservations open at 6 a.m. So for those most popular restaurants, you really do want to be trying to book it right at 6 a.m. if possible on your first day of eligibility. Now, if that sounds like a lot to manage, don't worry. There are definitely a lot of great restaurants here at Walt Disney World that you don't have to book quite as early as that. In fact, we're going to one right now, Shiki-Sai. You can usually book this relatively close to your visit. This isn't something that you need to plan super far in advance, and there are a lot of restaurants like that. The other thing that's important to know about table service restaurants on the dining plan is that your gratuity is not included. So you're definitely going to want to make a budget for tipping if you're doing the table service dining plan. In terms of how much you should tip, they will bring out to you at the end of your meal a check that shows you what your meal would have cost if you were not using the dining plan, and it'll also include suggested gratuity amounts there. It's really easy. All you have to do is put in the tip that you want charged to your room, and they can actually go ahead and do that because they're going to scan your Magic Band or your hotel key card, whatever it is that you've been using to purchase snacks and quick service meals. They'll use the exact same thing at your table service restaurant, and they'll use that not only to apply your table service credits, but also, if you like, to charge the tip to your room. Now, if you would prefer to pay the tip in cash, you are welcome to do that. You could also pay the tip with a different payment method if you preferred. As far as what your table service meal includes, that's going to vary a little bit from restaurant to restaurant, but as a general rule, you'll get an entree, which will usually come with a side. You'll also get a dessert, and you'll have the option of adding a premium beverage. If you're over the age of 21, that could be a cocktail or beer and wine. It's basically the same deal as with quick service in terms of the beverages, but you sometimes have a better selection when you're doing the table service meals. There are, however, some table service restaurants that are buffets where, of course, you're able to eat as much as you care to eat, and you're also going to get a beverage included there. If you're not sure what's included with the dining plan, you can always just ask the server, and they'll be happy to go through the menu and show you the things that you can add to your meal. They'll also make sure that you're not missing out on anything. But what we're doing tonight is actually something a little special that you can do here at Epcot during festivals. You can also do it over at Hollywood Studios, and it's called a dining package. The meal is generally going to include the same things that you would find at any of the other table service restaurants you'd be eating at with the dining plan. But in addition to that, they're going to give you a ticket, which gives you access to a special seating area, either at one of the festival shows that happen here at the America Gardens Theater at Epcot, or it'll give you access to a special seating area for Fantasmic, which is the big nighttime show that happens at Hollywood Studios. Now, it's important to know these are not reserved seats, especially for Fantasmic. If you want to get a really good seat, you're still going to want to arrive relatively early, but what it does give you access to is a special seating area that no one else can sit in, and it's usually the best seats. So if you want the very best seats, still show up early, but if you don't care, you're fine with anything that's kind of central, you can show up a little bit later. But if you were to get these dining packages without using the dining plan, you would definitely be paying a premium because it does include that special ticket. But with the dining plan, it doesn't end up costing any extra, and it does end up being a really great value. For example, our dinner tonight at Shiki-Sai is going to include a prefix menu that'll have an appetizer, a sushi roll, an entree, a dessert, and a specialty drink or cocktail. All of that's going to be included, plus our ticket to the show for $89, which is not only a really great deal on the dining plan, it's way over our $61 target, but it's also just something special. I love the fact that you can include special seating at a show and make that part of your dining plan experience. That meal was delicious. Also, it was massive. It was a lot of food. A few things that I definitely recommend from our dinner tonight at Cheeky Sai. We'll start out with the drinks. I had a Calpico mocktail that was delicious. It was basically Calpico, which is a probiotic Japanese soft drink, and then it had some dragon fruit layered in. It was sweet, but not overly sweet, and the Calpico just has a nice mellow flavor that I really enjoyed. For the appetizers, the standout was the eggplant. Eric ordered the eggplant and it came with takoyaki, which is like octopus balls. The skin was nice and crispy, and it had a delicious kind of sweet and salty sauce on top. As far as the entrees go, the akanamiyaki was definitely the star for me. This is like a Japanese pancake that's made with cabbage, and the whole thing is topped with candied bacon and delicious sauces. It was definitely one of my favorite entrees I've had here at Epcot in quite a while. I'm really excited though that we got to try Cheeky Sai, because that's a restaurant I've been wanting to try for a long time. I'd heard lots of great things and it definitely lived up to the hype. I'm also really excited to have tickets for the show tonight. This is the Garden Rocks concert series, which is part of Flower and Garden, and the performers tonight are ELO, the Electric Light Orchestra, so I'm really pumped for the show tonight, and I'm glad we're going to get really good seats without having to wait out a long time to get them. The show starts in about 20 minutes, and as long as it's not like a huge act, you can usually show up 15 to 20 minutes before the show and get a good seat. Now, if it's one of the more popular acts, and you're definitely going to know because you're going to see huge crowds over here at the American Gardens Theater, for those shows, you probably do want to show up early. And if you want the best seats, you're probably going to want to line up right as the show before your show is beginning, because that way you will be very first in line to grab a seat. How amazing was that? The fact that we had second row seats for that show, and it was essentially included with the dining plan. I feel like this is a really cool perk that not everyone knows they can take advantage of. So check the calendar. If there's a band here that you're really excited to see, consider adding a dining package night to your dining plan. Right now, we're gonna go enjoy the rest of our evening here at Epcot, but we're gonna meet you back tomorrow because our plans for the final day of our dining plan adventure are absolutely wild. We are having a roaring good time here at Disney's Animal Kingdom, and I am so excited about this next meal that we're gonna have using the Disney dining plan. So we're gonna do some character dining. As a general rule, character dining meals can be some of the best values on the Disney dining plan because these table service restaurants tend to be a good bit more expensive than traditional table service restaurants because you're paying for that character experience. Now, it is important to note there are a couple of character dining meals. There's Artist Point over at Wilderness Lodge and Cinderella's Royal Table in the Magic Kingdom. Those require 2 table service credits if you want to eat there. As a general rule, it never really works out in your favor to use 2 table service dining credits for 1 meal. Even though those meals are pricier, they're definitely not pricey enough to use up 2 credits. So if you want to dine at one of those restaurants, sometimes it makes sense to pay for those in cash and then use your table service credits somewhere else later. Of course, if you're getting towards the end of your trip and you're worried about using up all your table service credits, that can be a good way to do it. But for us, we're doing a character breakfast here at Tusker House. This is one of my favorite character meals, but I've never done the breakfast. Now, I should mention, breakfast is not as good a value on the dining plan as lunch or dinner because even at a character dining experience, breakfast tends to be cheaper. But again, this video isn't really about maximizing every single dollar. Our goal today is to do the things that we really want to do. I love this place for lunch and dinner. It has some of the most interesting food that you're gonna find at any character meal, and I'm really excited to check out what they have for breakfast. A few things I do wanna share before we go in, since this is our first buffet meal. Number one, even though it's a buffet, you can still add a premium beverage to your meal. So that could be a cocktail, beer, wine, or non-alcoholic mocktail or specialty drink. Also, your meal will include soft drinks. So if you want, you could have coffee and juice and a cocktail or mocktail, and that would all be included for each person. You are, however, limited to just one of those fancy drinks. So only one cocktail or mocktail, but they'll keep bringing you as many soft drinks as you wish. Well, now that we've covered the basics, let's head inside and enjoy a delicious breakfast with Donald, Daisy, Goofy, and Mickey. What's up, Goofy? Oh, the ceiling. Of course that's what's up. I'm a little slow sometimes. Thank you for catching me up. That was a delicious meal. This is my favorite character breakfast by far that I've had here at Disney World. What I love about this one, number one, the characters are in adorable outfits, and you'll get that no matter what time you dine here at Tusker House. But what I really love about this spot for breakfast is that in addition to all of the classic breakfast dishes you'd expect to find, things like pancakes, eggs, they have Lion King waffles. They have lots of stuff that's ideal for little kids. They've got some cereals and oatmeal. But if you have a little bit more of an adventurous palate and you want something a little bit more exciting for breakfast, they have some delicious things on offer. A lot of them are inspired by African flavors. There's the mealy pap served with a curry. There's a bobotie that happened to be made with impossible meat. So it was actually a vegetarian bobotie and it was delicious. They also had shakshuka, which is a traditional egg dish. Lots of really exciting things on the menu that you're not gonna find at other Disney World buffets. Probably my favorite thing, and this is gonna be a crowd pleaser, even if you don't like adventurous flavors, they have a cinnamon roll bread pudding that is heavenly. It was so good. That is a must try while you're here. Eric added a pomegranate lemonade to his meal as his premium beverage, and I added a mojito, which was basically a mojito without the booze. They were not terribly expensive. They were each about $6, so it didn't do a lot to enhance the value of our meal, but we did enjoy trying something a little special. Obviously, if you were doing cocktails, beer, or wine, that would be an even better value. And of course, if you were here for lunch or dinner, that would have driven the price up a good bit too. Altogether, we ended up spending about $116 here before tax, which was a little bit under our target of $122 for 2 table service meals. I'm not super worried, however, because we have big plans for tonight. We're heading over to Disney Springs for dinner. We have 2 quick service credits left and we have a snack credit left. We're actually headed to a restaurant that is one of my favorite in all of Walt Disney World, and it's even recognized by the Michelin Guide as a recommended restaurant here in Orlando. That is right, my friends. We are going to use our quick service credit for Michelin grade food. I'm so excited to take you there. I'll meet you guys at Disney Springs later tonight. It is the final night of our Disney dining plan adventure. Today is our checkout day, so we have until midnight to use the last of our credits. We've got 2 quick service credits and 1 snack credit, and let me tell you, there is no better place to use up your last credits than here at Disney Springs. You've got so many options for ways to use up your snack credits. It's a great place to get souvenirs to take home, or maybe just a really delicious treat that you'll remember to finish off your trip. That's actually what we're gonna do a little bit later. But if you're looking to get some souvenirs with those snack credits, head over to Candy Cauldron or Goofy's Candy Company, and you're gonna find tons of packaged things there that actually end up being a pretty good value on the dining plan as a snack credit. So we paid $394.36 for the dining plan for 2 people for 2 nights. But right now, if you add up everything we've eaten so far, not even using these final credits, we're at $393.90 after tax. So we're almost right there at breaking even, and we haven't even finished using our credits. But that also doesn't include that refillable mug that we've been using. And sure enough, we did end up using it as much as I thought we would. So we're gonna go ahead and say that that was worth $20 a day. So that's another $40 right there. So already we're in the green. And as you can see, even without really trying to maximize every single meal and getting cocktails with every meal, you can definitely still come out ahead using the dining plan. And if you think we've ended up making this a pretty good deal so far, you should wait till you see what we have planned for dinner, because we're headed to my favorite restaurant here at Disney Springs. And I've eaten at pretty much every place there is to eat here, including some heavy hitters like Chef Art Smith's Homecoming and Morimoto Asia. Those are both amazing restaurants, don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking them, but when I'm here at Disney Springs, what I'm usually craving is the barbecue and Southern style sides over at Polite Pig. They are such a great value. Even if you're not using the dining plan, it is a really good deal and you get such high quality food. But before we head over there and have our delicious dinner, there are a few other things I wanted to cover about the dining plan, because this is something that we get asked a lot of questions about, and that is, can you share your dining credits? So officially, the answer from Disney is no. Each person has their own bank of credits, and that's what they should use. They shouldn't be shared between members of the party. Having said that, there is no mechanism in the app for keeping track of whose credits are whose. Now, if we had kids in our group, there would be a separate bank of credits for kids. And that's where I think the no sharing rule really comes into play. Because keep in mind, if there's a kids menu at a restaurant, those kids credits have to be used on a kids meal. But if there's not a kids menu available, those kids credits can be used for a full-size normal meal. And that's where I think you run into issues with the dining plan. They don't want you using those kids credits for adult meals that are going to be eaten by adults. That's definitely breaking the rules and abusing the system. But if you're just sharing credits between adults, honestly, Disney doesn't really give you an easy way to keep track of those credits to begin with. If you've got a large party or you're here for a large number of days, it would be a huge chore to keep track of who's used which credits and which credits that are left are belonging to which person in your party. That would be a nightmare to manage, and so I don't think Disney expects you to do that. I think the only sharing rule Disney really cares about is not using those kids credits for adult meals. The next thing I want to talk about relates specifically to the Polite Pig, which is where we're having our final quick service meal for dinner. Polite Pig is a really unique restaurant in that you can use either quick service credits or table service credits. Now, if you use a quick service credit, you can order anything from the menu that will include a side, and you can also get any beverage from a list of beverages, and it's really most of their regular beers, cocktails, soft drinks, and even their specialty mocktail drinks are included. What's not included are kind of their more top shelf cocktails. Those are not included, and you also don't get dessert. However, if you were to choose to use a table service credit instead of a quick service credit, they would allow you to order one of those top shelf cocktails, and they would let you add a dessert to your meal. So if you're thinking you want the full experience, then you might want to use a table service credit, but you're definitely going to get your biggest bang for your buck at the Polite Pig by using quick service, because let me tell you, there is nowhere else on Disney World property that you're going to get a meal that is both as good a value and as delicious as what you're going to get at Polite Pig. We're not getting dessert because we do have that final snack credit, and we have some big dessert plans for that one. But let's head over to Polite Pig and have some delicious barbecue and sides, and maybe we'll throw in a mocktail or a non-alcoholic beer to wash it all down. What an amazing dinner. Y'all, I think that might actually be my favorite meal that we've had in this whole video. I just love Polite Pig. I am a barbecue junkie. My favorite food groups are barbecue and southern sides, and that's what they do so well here. If you're at a loss for what to order, the ribs, not only are they the best value for your quick service dollar, it's a $27 meal that you're getting as a quick service credit, but those ribs are just fall apart tender and they have so much flavor. They're delicious. The mac and cheese and the Brussels sprouts are my go-tos. Those are my favorite sides there, and so we always get those when we're there. The other thing I really love is the chicken. The chicken is always super juicy. The skin is nice and crispy and well seasoned. And the other star of the show here are the sauces. They have 4 different house barbecue sauces that are all really good. I always recommend just get all 4 and try each of them because they're all really good in their own way. They also had some mocktails available, and I had to get a non-alcoholic beer because I don't know, when I'm having barbecue, sometimes I just really want a beer, but we made the rule. We were not gonna have alcohol during this video, but you can in fact get a non-alcoholic beer if you'd like as your beverage of choice, and this one was really good. I'm not sure how you say the name of it, Flavor, I think maybe? I've never had it before, but it was a non-alcoholic Pilsner. I had to double check to make sure that we hadn't cheated and gotten a real beer because it was that good. It really did taste like a real beer. Our total for dinner was $63.91. That's an amazing deal for 2 quick service credits, but honestly, it's a great deal even if you're not using the Disney dining plan, which is why we eat here as much as we do. The other thing that's important to know though, this is one of the few places where you can use a quick service credit and you will need to plan to add a gratuity. It actually is table service. Once you order at the counter, they're gonna come out and bring your food to you, and they're gonna kind of keep up with you throughout the meal to make sure you don't need anything. So definitely take care of the cast members here because they are amazing at what they do. But do know, this is one of the rare spots where when you're doing quick service, you still do need to plan to tip. So we are now well over the amount that we paid for the Disney dining plan. It's already turned out to be a good deal, but right now we have that one lone snack credit left, and I'm gonna share with you my favorite use of a snack credit in all of Walt Disney World. It's right here at Disney Springs. We're heading over to Amorette's Patisserie. Amorette's Patisserie is one of the rare places where everything is adorable and Instagrammable and just picture perfect, but yet it is also still delicious. All of the classics that you find at Amorette's are spectacular, and most of them are available as snack credit options on the Disney dining plan, which is huge because some of these are $11, including the one that we had to get because it is one of my favorites. It is the Mickey Dome, and not only is it adorable, once you slice into it, there is chocolate mousse, vanilla mousse, there's a little cookie wafer, and there's some little crunchy things in the middle. I'm not sure what they are, but the whole thing is just delicious. It's got such a rich flavor. When you look at it, you think this is gonna be one of those things that's just gonna look good, but probably not taste very good. Not the case. You will not be disappointed with this treat. There's also a mini version, which I've actually never tried because I'm a chocoholic, and the mini version is more of a raspberry white chocolate affair. Maybe one day I'll give that one a whirl, but for my final treat on the dining plan, I had to get the one that I know and love. Whatever you get here though, I can pretty much guarantee you, you're not gonna be disappointed, and it is the perfect way to close out your Disney dining plan, and the perfect way for us to close out our Disney dining plan video. But before we do, let's total everything up and see how we did in the end. Our grand total, after adding in Amorette's and Polite Pig, was $509.53. That's a savings of $115.17. And I gotta say, while that was an amazing deal, I don't know how much longer we could have kept that pace up. So that's not really something you can typically do over the course of a full 7-8 day vacation if you're here that long. If you're here for 3 or 4 days, yeah, you can probably make the dining plan work in your favor in that amount of time and not be miserable from all the food you're eating. But if you're here for longer, definitely consider a split stay. Consider breaking your hotel stay into 2 parts and only put the dining plan on one part of it if you're sure that you want to use the dining plan. Now, if your vacation is all about the delicious food, then go for it. Go ahead and get the dining plan for the whole thing. And maybe you're just looking for that all-inclusive feel, in which case the dining plan might be right for you, even if it's not the best bargain. But as you can see, even without alcohol, even without only eating at the most expensive restaurants, we were able to come out way ahead using the Disney dining plan. I actually do think that this is showing you how things have gotten better on the Disney dining plan in 2026, mainly because food prices across Disney World have gone up a lot, and the cost of the dining plan hasn't really gone up that much. So it's definitely become a better value this year, mainly just because of the value of the food. But if value is something that's important to you, write down these numbers, keep them in mind, and do a little research before your vacation. Pick the restaurants you're most excited about eating at, look at the menu, think about what you might want to order. And if the totals are coming out above these numbers, then probably the dining plan is going to be a good fit for you. But if you're not sure where you want to eat yet, I would recommend subscribing to the Ear Scouts podcast. We have several episodes that are all about food at Walt Disney World, including a recent episode where we ranked our favorite character dining meals. So if you're not subscribed to that, it's a different YouTube channel. You can find it by going to earscouts.com/podcast, or you can find it wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts like Apple or Spotify. You can also watch live as we record each and every podcast episode by joining our Patreon community. And of course, I can't go without thanking them so much for supporting our channel and making videos like this possible. If you'd like to join them and get access to exclusive bonus content, including those live podcast recording sessions, head on over to patreon.com/earscouts. And of course, I would like to thank all of you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it helped you to decide whether the dining plan is right for you on your next Disney trip. If it did, help us out by giving this video a like, subscribing to our channel, and ringing that bell. That way you'll be notified whenever new videos like this come out. Until next time, don't forget to think happy thoughts, everybody. We'll see you again real soon.